Why is a man's body count being high seen as experience, but a woman's own is seen as shameful?
Women have always been taught to be reserved. Keep your legs closed. Don't always be open to man. Don't approach a man. All of those things, all of those rules have always been given to women. If someone is one that has so many partners, experienced so many partners, these are the people who talk about, he doesn't know how to do it. Because how do you know he doesn't know how to do it? Because you've had so many partners, and this one, John used to do it like this, James did like that. If I could have a mix of James and John. But you can't have a mix of James and John. What you have now is Peter, and you have to deal with it.
The worst thing some men want to hear is that you are not good in bed. You don't want to, it's their worst nightmares.
So a shitty person is a shitty person, a problematic person is a problematic person. A couple that cannot mesh well is a couple that cannot mesh well. Yeah. Imagine an empath being married to a narcissist. Whether both of them have low body count, that marriage,
they won't work at
all. They will argue, they will fight, they'll
just be toxic.
Hi, I'm Mehitabel.
Hi, I'm Emaidio.
And hi, I'm MM.
And welcome to Truth in Bikinis.
We always strip down life's toughest issues with core truth.
At least the ones affecting the women.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about the body count debate. Does a person's sexual history actually affect the quality of a relationship? And the first question, I'm going to be taking it, is why is a man's body count being high seen as experience, but a woman's own is seen as shameful?
This is a man's world, let's say.
Oh my goodness.
The gender roles of a thing. They see men as, showing their abilities, exercising their abilities in the sexual, whereby a woman is, they just want to control the women for them to be reserved. But then men are open, they can do whatever they like. And then they feel men should have as many partners so that they can have different experiences for them to be seen as a strong man. When the wife is there, there's no need for the woman to complain. He should be able. But then a woman should be reserved for her husband. So that's why if a woman is saying, I've had many boyfriends, I've had 5 or 6, they were like, no, this one doesn't have home training at all. This is a total red flag. Whereas a man having 10, oh boy, you be baba, you do well.
I don't completely agree because why should a woman, why should a man's sex capades be seen as experience? Why not the woman too? So everybody's trying to get experience. So I think everybody should be judged at the same level because what's good for the goose? Is it not good for the for the gander? So yeah. I personally feel that I think the reason is just been a cultural thing. Over time, that's just flown. That's just come down generation. Men are often seen as just exercising their sexual prowess, when they are testing everybody, every other girl. And it's always been that women have always been taught to be reserved. Keep your legs closed. Don't always be open to man. Don't approach a man. All of those things, all of those rules have always been given to women, and men have just always been, untouched. So I personally think it's a cultural thing. Over time, people have just learned from the grandparents, the father, and all of that, So those advices have just grown on us, and we just interpret it as, it's okay for a man to be this way, and it's wrong for a woman to be that way. So it doesn't necessarily make it okay.
Yes, and the truth is that I don't even think, in my personal opinion, I don't think even makes sense, that whole idea. Where it literally just comes from, because you can't even say it comes from religion. You can't say that. It comes from deep-rooted patriarchy. Like you said, it's a cultural thing. It's passed down from generation to generation without reason.
Without reason at all.
It's just like
nobody's asking any questions.
Exactly. I don't know if you've heard that story of this woman that would cut the meat and I think keep the other sides apart to cook the meat.
Yeah.
And then her daughter did it and the daughter did it and they didn't ask any questions until the later generation, the daughter now asked, why, do you do this? Now called the mother. The mother said, I will just copy my mother. Mother now called their grandmother. And grandmother was like, oh, my pot was too small.
Yeah.
That's why
I remember that story.
Yeah, so like my pot was too small. That's why I was doing it. So it just goes to show how human beings tend to just stick to tradition above all. I do believe that abstinence and chastity, they are very good things. They are very important. But I don't believe that if like men and women shouldn't be held to the same standard.
The same standards, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like there's not much of a difference. A promiscuous woman and a promiscuous man, they are literally one and the same.
One and the same.
They lack self-control. They are, or maybe they just don't care about those conservative values. Who knows? But they are literally in the same boat. They are literally just trying to do whatever they are doing. So it doesn't make sense that they'll say this one is prowess and this one is stupid, this one is shameful, this one is a shower. But
they used to draw examples from the religion, like you said. They said in olden days, men can marry as many wives as they can. Take for Solomon, for example, who had 1,000 women. So men can marry as many, but women, the rest was the case. You just need one husband. So if men are marrying many women, that means men can at the same time exercise their prowess to many ladies. You understand? So maybe they are using that to define it. But then in the beginning, God created one man and one woman. If he actually wanted man to have many women, they would have created one man and about 3 or 4 women.
3, so that's
just because the whole thing is like, I feel that many wives was something that was born out of culture. I don't think it was born out of like God saying.
Yes.
I can't reason or remember any scripture where God was like pick many wives, or the Bible where prophets had like said you should marry multiple. I think it's something that came to be, and it's something that stopped as people got more advanced. It's something that reduced and stopped, because if we are stopping it, that means there was probably a problem with it in the beginning.
Of course.
You understand? So what the Bible says is that you should hold yourself. I don't even think it even specify gender. It just says that fornication is wrong and that adultery is wrong. That's what it's simply stating. So whether you feel that your gender is absolved from it, if you're a religious person, it makes no sense. Like,
doesn't.
Well, they say go into the world and multiply. So men took that very serious.
Those ones, they are taking everything out of context. All right, so let me ask this question. So would you date or marry someone with a high body count? Why or why not?
I doubt that I would. I wouldn't be able to trust someone like that. I don't know why. Because it's like when you create a habit, I know how hard habits are
difficult to break.
It's not coming from a judgment, or probably people can change. That can be someone's past life, but it's like you don't just live a particular lifestyle for a majority of your life and
just you want to change
up
like
and
that.
Change.
Yes.
Some men, a lot of men actually, they're like, okay, I'll stop sleeping around when I date. Oh, they're dating, they're still sleeping around, or stop when we get married. They get married and they've still not stopped. So it's like, if I notice that, if I realize that, okay, you've been with a lot of people, you didn't care about the quality of that person or the people you were just sleeping with for the sake of sleeping with. If you're speaking between that person and someone any person that they probably slept with, it took a lot before they got to that point. They value their body, they value that connection with someone. I would pick the person that has valued it for a long time. Unfortunately, for whoever likes me, but that's just my preference. Because me, I'm not someone that is like that mentally, that I want to just
be everywhere.
Yeah, be everywhere. I don't. I'm not. I want somebody that has the same values as me. You're able to align. Even if that's your past, I'm not judging you. Maybe we can fist bump and say bye-bye, but I can't see myself in a relationship with a promiscuous person.
Oh, okay.
To me, it's same thing, but I can only do that if the person is willing to change totally. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure of another human being.
And secondly, like when we are dating, I'll have to watch closely and be sure and seeing the person's loyalty. And the compatibility, because sometimes it's not just about the body count, although it really matters. Like I said, I wouldn't want to go to someone who has high body count, but I can only do that if I understand that we are very compatible. We understand ourselves very well, and the person is someone that I can end up with or marry and willing to spend the rest of my life with. And then the person is willing to change. Loyalty, number one.
You are gambling, my sister. That's called gambling.
Number one. So, but if I still find like something small, like you're still going back to something like that, small of it, then no.
And what if you end up finding that in marriage? After you've already married the person.
I mean,
I personally feel that I think that people should be considered at the point that they are most times. Yeah. So sometimes someone may have had a past that may have some question marks, but where are you now? What exactly are you looking up to? What's your life now?
That's
do you really do you enjoy that past?
And the thing is, like, when you said that just like really hits me. People should be taken at the point that they are. It's like you don't date for a person's potential. You understand? Because another thing that can be taken out of that is that if that person is currently promiscuous and they're saying that they want to change for you, you don't date somebody with the idea that they're going to change. You see, don't get into a relationship unless you see that the qualities of this person are something that even if it's a negative thing, I don't mind it. I can manage this. Even if it's for the rest of my life and this person is still doing this thing. That's how it goes. No, because people enter relationships that should have never existed, conceived. Like, you guys should not even be with each other just just because of that mindset of they will change.
So I kind of feel like, okay, so where are you? You had multiple sexual partners in the past. Even though I think there should be a number. Because if you have 200, I can't compare you to someone who had 20. Even though the both of you are still on the high side.
What if the person used to be like an adult actor or something? That's why it's 200. They used to be like a porn star or something.
They did it for sincerely. I've seen someone. I worked with someone. He said he was abused when he was younger.
Okay.
So that just kind of just made him lose. It was like everywhere. So I asked him at this point, because he wanted to like have it with everybody, so every time he sees a girl married or unmarried, everybody is available, and he had this charisma that made it easy for him to So at some point I sat him down and I asked him, have you asked yourself have you counted how many women you've slept with so far? He said, well, if he counts now, it should be shouldn't be less than 200.
Ew.
Yes, it shouldn't be less than 200. And this is someone that was just
He's
maybe
working
in his mid-30s.
Overtime.
Was out of control, And because he was easy, as in women were easy for him. He's this kind of person that talks well, looks well, is clean, and then he knows how to get them. And some women are too easy. So you just be talking to a woman, the next thing,
bedroom.
So I told him, I looked at him and I said, no, what happened to you? Did someone damage you? That's when we talked about, he went and said, he was actually violated when he was much younger. And so there are people who are not actors or anything. They are just human beings who just explored early. They started early and then before you know it, they just kept on going.
I've said that thing before.
Yeah.
Like, be very careful, like, about teenagers especially. Those years are formative. Whatever happens as a child, as a teenager, tends to really stay, especially as a teenager. So if you got exposed to sexual activity young, it's be very hard for you to live for a very long time without, getting yourself involved. Because whatever like I said, your body gets used to it. Your mind is used to whatever you were into.
Stopping is now another
this thing. So that's actually.
The next question here. Do men actually care about body count, or is it just a way to control women's choices?
I feel it's a very inactive, I don't know what they call that word, very inactive decision. They don't know, they are not actively I feel like it's
care.
trying to care. I think you're really taught, because if someone is telling you this everywhere you hear, every guy around you, there's nobody that's really and even if someone now comes and says this is not the fact, it will not be, even if you go, that guy goes on Google now, you understand, and searches it and it's proven wrong. He will still stick with what he knows. It's just a societal standard that we've gotten comfortable with, that a lot of people have resonated and kept as the truth, as facts, to the point where, people are actively doing studies to even prove it extra that this is a fact. And the truth is that if you're looking for something, most likely you're going to find it.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. It's like, I don't think they are caring in the sense that they want to actively care. I think they're caring because they feel they're supposed to care.
I think it bothers some of them because as a man, just like we're bothered, if a man has high body count, the same thing is applicable to them. They feel if a woman has high body count, number one, that woman, they might not be able to satisfy the woman because she has experienced sex with different men, and the worst thing some men want to hear is that you are not good in bed. You don't want to, like, it's their worst nightmares. So they have that fear that they might not be able to satisfy the woman because she has had the sexual experience with so many years. And then at the same time, men sometimes prefer virgins or women with very low body count. They feel if it's a virgin, she will be attached to them more, irrespective of what they do. They know this is the person that is virgin me, and this is the person I'm attached to. Because women have this way of attaching emotional, they are kind of emotional to the person they first have sex with. But then the men, it's different. So when women has had this with so many people, the men might just feel this, even if I do something with her, she will not be emotionally attached to me.
I kind of think that a man's level of maturity too determines how he sees most of those things. Because if you want to get married to someone, for instance, and you're in a relationship, and then you both understand one another, maybe you've had, like I said, I personally believe that I want to see you at the point that you are immediately, not where you used to be. Perhaps you used to be there where you had a lot of women, you had a lot of sexual activities going on in your past. But where are you now? That's how I see it. So if a man is insisting, if you've slept with a lot of people, it means something to him, then I guess if it doesn't work for you, you guys should just part. Yeah, because I've seen men who get married to prostitutes. I've seen men who get married to all of those women who exchange their bodies for money. And of course, it requires a lot of understanding to get to that point where you say, oh, I see this woman beyond what she used to do. So I think that it's just understanding. It's not like I'm saying, oh, be promiscuous or anything. I'm saying that when it's time for you to maybe get into a relationship or settle down for one reason or the other, learn or try and see the person at the point that they are. If you do that, I think it's definitely better for all of us, because if I can see you, this is where you are now. You used to have a lot of, but where are you now? Do you have this understanding that way of life is not okay? Do you have this understanding that it's better for you to keep yourself? Because there are men who have been there, and then at some point they just realize that the whole exercise was useless. And then there are women too who have been there, and then they realize that the exercise was futile. So they just settle down and say, okay, let me just rest. If I find a man that I want to end up with, I will just now give to them. But there are people who are just going non-stop. Whether they are married, whether they are single, they don't care. They are just exercising they said dominion. So they are everywhere. So I think that it takes a lot of understanding in relationships too, so that you can understand one another. Just understand yourselves and just agree. I'm okay with this place that you guys are, or I'm okay with where we are. So if we agree about ourselves, it doesn't really matter what society thinks. It doesn't necessarily matter. If society says, oh, if a man has had a high body count, it doesn't make it work and all of that, we are going to agree amongst ourselves because we are the ones in the relationship. What's going to happen here? Are you still going to continue Or do you still want to go that way? Or can it work between us? Oh, I don't like that I may still be thinking of you a certain way. So please, let's part, Because there are people who can't stand it.
Deal with it.
Yes, there are people who actually can't stand it. The thought of the fact that, or maybe you were a conservative person and then you meet this person, you actually like them, their personality and all, but you find out that they lived this kind of life that was just wayward. Everywhere they were there, sowing their seeds, And so you just part ways, because I can't keep thinking that my husband has been here, has been there, So yeah, I think it's a lot of understanding.
That reminds me of a story. There is this man, he stepped out to get a prostitute. So when he brought her to the house, he said something in him, like he didn't feel like touching her. She was like, come now, let's do the thing. But at the end of the day, he called her and said, why are you into this? The girl started crying. She said normally she doesn't like what she's doing, but then she's forced into it. Number one, she's an orphan and she has tried some jobs and then it has not been working out. Then a friend introduced her to this and she has been seeing the money, but then she doesn't feel like she wants something like this. And the man said, if I should open a business for you, would you stop? The lady said, if this instance like this, I'm done with it. I would not even go into something again like that. The man opened the business for her and she stopped. And she flourished very well. At the end of the day, the man married her and that was just it. So I think some people might just want to change, maybe like the prostitute you said. There are some prostitutes out there who might not really want or like what they are doing, but maybe they are forced to do, which is not an excuse because we have some other things there to do.
There are no excuses at all.
So then someone can change. Like the man actually opened the business for her and then she stopped. It's not as if she loved something like that, but she stopped. So people can actually change.
Okay. So I'm taking the next question. Can past sexual experiences determine someone's ability to be faithful?
Not at all.
Can past experience determine someone's
ability to be faithful?
I think so. I think it could. It just really depends on the person. Because I don't think human beings are a monolith, but patterns are something that we tend to follow.
Yeah.
So it's like if you've been doing something for a long time, chances are you're not going to be able to stop. I've said it. I think I've said this already. You're not. It's not that easy unless that person has very strong willpower, a very strong sense of, I don't know whether intelligence to reason these things and be able to discipline themselves. But a lot of people don't have that level of discipline. So let's say if it's a non-disciplined person that's not ready to move on and is still kind of struggling, yes, it will very much affect that relationship. If that person, especially if that person is actively in that lifestyle or probably in transition, trying to get out of that lifestyle, maybe meet them while they are trying to get out, the chances are they will go back, they'll fail.
Yeah, once or twice.
I think that it will affect.
I think it's individual differences. It's just personal choices and decisions. Faithfulness, whether low body count or high or past experiences, there are people that they are virgins that even after marriage or disvirgin them, they turn wild. I think it's just individual or low or choices, because someone might say, okay, I've been here, like I said, there's a way you cover something for a long time and when you open it, it smells. There are people that said, I've not experienced this thing before, and when they want to explore, it's much more. And then there are people that have explored for a long time. They said, I've entered that place and go, and like there's nothing there. Yeah. So they finally said to the one person, they said, I've tried everything and there's nothing there. So so I think it's individual differences. There are some people who still cannot maintain, like you said, something you've done for long. It's very difficult for you to change. They might still want to continue from where they stopped. So I think it's just individual, not necessarily your past sexual experiences.
I personally think that this thing we call change, I think all the first thing that matters when it comes to change is, why are you changing? As in, what's the background of what's the reason for your change, So there are people who just want to change just to suit someone. You know that if that person offends you tomorrow, you can decide that, okay, so you have offended me, I can go back to what I was doing. But if it's based on a deep-rooted conviction that this is where I am now, I cannot continue like this. And then of course, it's even a better thing that if, for instance, if I give my life to Christ, I can decide, oh, I love the Lord now. I no longer do like this with my body.
Yeah.
Oh, I fear God. I no longer do like this. Because I think one of the biggest factors that can even cause a man to do better in life is that factor where he's afraid of or whether not really afraid per se, maybe he reverences someone superior. And then he looks at his life and says, oh, I would love my life to match up to the standard this person created for me. And so they decide, oh, I don't want to do like this, I can do like this. So it makes, I feel that, because I actually think to an extent that experience can affect how a relationship goes. I sincerely do not think that someone can live that way and it doesn't influence his other relationship. I think it's almost impossible that you've lived a certain way for a while and it doesn't influence how it goes later on. Even when you decide to turn around and do better, it just has a way of coming back. So it depends on you, your person, and the reason behind that change too. So, because, I mean, you can even get married. Someone can even get married. Someone who has decided they've quit that lifestyle, they can get married, and then on a good day, maybe their wife is pregnant or their wife's traveled and they have to stay apart for a while. So what does that person do in between? That temptation will be there. And so it depends on what convictions I have that's keeping me or that made me take this decision. That's what eventually keeps them through that period. Because there are seasons that maybe husband and wife have to separate for a while, for work or for anything, and then maybe you're out there and then you are free and you're like, oh, I can go back there, But if that decision wasn't based on a deep-rooted conviction, sorry, you're gone. You're gone. So that's what I feel. It's almost impossible. It's nearly impossible that lifestyle does not influence your relationship. It's almost impossible. You can't just live like that and then you decide to change immediately and you think everything will just go like that. No. You're not a virgin, you're not. So if you've had all of those experiences, it has a way of just playing into your other relationships. All right, so I'd like to ask, so do people with low body count make better partners? Is there any research to prove that?
I don't think so. I feel someone with a low body count can be just as shitty as someone with a higher one. I don't think it's a character. I don't think body count has to do with character. I would say it would most likely affects the relationship romantically, like in a romantic sense, yes, but I don't think so. I don't really think so. I feel if a person that's shitty is shitty, low or high body counts, that's my own.
Yeah.
I actually think that people with lower body counts can make better partners.
No.
I'm tempted to agree that people with lower body counts can make better partners.
I mean, okay, fine. Maybe lower body count people can make better partners, but you have to consider the reason why they have a lower body count. Do they have a lower body count because maybe, some people, they have low self-esteem and don't even attempt to reach out to anybody, and they are in that position of nobody wants to date me. They don't reach out. So that ends up affecting their sexual experience. There's some people that's their case. Then there are some people that they actually had that conviction of, I want anybody I sleep with to be someone that I deeply value and deeply care about. I have a deep mental connection with. If it depends on the conviction for that low body count.
See,
I would say.
Okay. That low or high has nothing to do with being a better partner. Some people with low body count, some of them might be due to the parents, the kind of parental control.
Yeah.
There are some parents that are very strict. So the fear of these parents now can, maybe I'm not doing it for the fear. So you're not even allowed to step out. Maybe you're living in the house, just the boarding house.
But
that has nothing
to
be.
It has its advantages then.
Yes, but that's not necessarily meaning you're going to be a better partner
in the future.
That better partner, that one is about your character. About who you are. That has nothing.
Even though they are not established causation in terms of, but there's been research to show that people who have multiple partners in the past,
their marriage is
are
always
more prone to divorce.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, there's been research to just do that correlation. So chances are, I personally think that when a person is like, oh, this relationship didn't work, I move on. This one didn't work, I move on to the next one without really evaluating what went
Yes,
wrong,
or
So you just
yeah.
keep jumping and
And it
jumping.
seems to be
Over time, you
applicable in
just feel
marriage.
like whatever doesn't work, I walk away from it.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
get into marriage and it's working well, and then one thing goes wrong. You're not ready to sit down and evaluate, okay, is this something long term or is this something that we should end? So I think that generally that thing, even when if someone is one that has so many partners, experienced so many partners, these are the people who talk about, oh, he doesn't know how to do it. Because
Yeah.
how do you know he doesn't know how to do it?
Because you've had
Yeah, because you've
several.
had so many partners, and this one, John used to do it like this, James did like that. Oh, if I could have a mix of James and John, but you can't have a mix of James and John. What you have now is Peter, and you have to deal with it. So yeah, so I personally believe that in fact it's the lower the better.
Well, I think in that aspect, women with low body count might possibly be more reserved in marriage than the one with high body count. Just like you're talking about the Peter, Paul, and Daniel. People with the high body count, they really have issues with their husband at home. It's kind of, or majority.
I think it's
so.
both ways, Sha.
I don't think so, cause I don't think that's issue something, cause like she said, I think her explanation makes that kind of like you're moving from people to people, and you get married and you don't have that patience again because you've used up your patience
You've exhausted your patience.
on all those other people. You understand? But in the sense of, I feel like I said before, a shitty person is a shitty person, a problematic person is a problematic person. A couple that cannot mesh well is a couple that cannot mesh well.
Yeah.
Imagine an empath being married to a narcissist. Whether both of them have low body counts,
It won't work at
they will
all.
argue, they will fight, they'll
To just be toxic.
it will be toxic.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like I said, that's why it's hard for me to fully agree with that low body count, because some people just don't work for each other.
Yeah.
Some people are just bad for each other, and those could be reasons why that marriage didn't work out.
Yeah,
And then for the divorce rates, Emma's explanation just kind of encapsulated it in a very unique perspective that I kind of really agree with. So
Does body count actually matter in a relationship, or is it just an outdated social construct?
like I always like saying that human beings are very different. We are vastly different beings, spiritually, mentally, like and it's so amazing how two people can just be so different in their way of dealing with things, in their way.
Yeah.
Because some people, the body count thing can affect them. Some people,
Doesn't
They don't mind.
they don't mind.
Yeah.
So it just really depends on the person, their state of mind, what they're doing with each other. That is kind of what's, so saying that the body count thing is outdated, I would say policing people for it is what is outdated. Making people feel disgusting and bad about their past, making people feel that they should linger onto something that they're trying to let go of, is what is outdated. I wouldn't say I don't know how, I wouldn't say the act of having a lot of bodies and that's being, I wouldn't say that is the outdated aspect of it. So
Well, I feel body count having high, it kind of matter to some extent. People should control themselves.
Yeah.
So to reduce this body count, because it's not making sense. Some ladies have 30, 40, we have men 50, 60. It's not making any sense. People should try to control these things, because this is a spirit and you're not controlling it. If you're not controlling it, it will now control you. And if it controls you, your relationship is at stake.
yeah.
So it matters to some extent. It's very difficult to see. It's hard to see someone who has been doing this not doing it again. Like she said, almost impossible. So to some extent, it matters. People should just try. But if you've had many, you've done it already. You need to change. You can change. And that's just the past. But then if you want to continue and say maybe the person I will get married to would understand and appreciate me, no, just doesn't make any sense. To some extent, it matters.
I think I kind of agree, that the whole body count thing is not completely outdated per se. There are people who, like we were saying before now, that if one doesn't talk about it, you probably would not know. Yes. So there are people who go about in their relationships and are like, oh, I'm not going to talk about my sexual experiences in the past. But then it will still linger in your mind such that, you know, if you were to walk into one of your ex with your current partner, you know, to be awkward, and then you'll be trying to explain, and then if it was something that was really publicly awkward, and then you people are getting into an argument, and then when the thing now explodes and they're like, okay, so how many are they? To now become a real issue. Yeah? So I think it's something that in a relationship, people should talk about it.
Yeah, they should sort it out.
Talk about it, sort it out. You had to, I had this. So if it's someone that you're comfortable with, I think you can tell them, oh, I've slept with 10. If you have a number, just tell them, oh, I've slept with 20. And then,
and then you went.
What's up to 20?
Consider if it's okay for them. So nobody wants to say, oh, I married this lady, and then you now found out that you slept with your uncle or something. And then, you know, so it gets messier. Yeah. So it's best to just talk about those things. There are things to be talked about. I personally feel that couples should be able to talk about those things.
Lying about that thing itself can even make you uncomfortable. Because you feel, what if he knows about the truth? The house will be on fire.
You know that people say my past is my past. Yeah. So there's no need for me to talk to you about it.
Yeah, some people have
that.
There are some parts you still need to talk about too.
That's the thing. It really depends on the person.
Yeah.
There are some people that are very open to letting go of your past. Some people are very open. Just like you're like, no, we're gonna. But then there's someone else that's like, you know what? Me, probably, I don't want to dish out my own past because I don't want to remember it. I don't want to be linked back to that. And you're now understanding of your own partner not wanting to. And where you guys are currently now. And those people probably are secure in themselves. They are not scared of it having a problem. And they just make the agreements with each other. Like, I think we've come to that agreement that people are different. Like, it just really depends on the person.
Okay. Yeah. I think that the same question, should body count even be a topic of discussion in relationship? Does it build or destroy trust? Well, I feel sometimes you need to know if that person is emotionally matured enough. Because there are some men.
Your body count.
There are some men you tell, and then your story is the talk of the town.
Yeah.
They will go about telling, oh, more that girl, she has 55. So, and when you move it, so people just looking at you, oh, this girl. You need to know this person first. But then if it's someone you're wanting to settle down with, I think it's something you need to discuss.
I think
because a healthy relationship needs to be built on a trust. Trust, honesty, loyalty, everything. So you need to discuss it. Let the person know your past. If the person is willing to, then you continue. If the person is not willing to, then you part ways. There is no need lying about anything. So I think
that's why I think we should even talk about these things with the younger generation. Just don't do something that you will not be proud of in the future. Because I personally feel like if I've had a past that I'm not proud of, for instance, and I want to be with someone maybe for a long term, I'll talk to you about it. I'll just, I did this when I was much younger, and this is how it ended. I slept with this number of people, and this is how it went. That's not me anymore, but that's where I've been.
Yeah, and I think it's very important in terms of, in fact, picking who you're going to be with. Because I think you'd much rather be with the person that would hear that, still love you. You guys, and if maybe the person feels somehow about it, you guys he decides that he wants to walk it through with you till we get it over with how the person is feeling. I think it's better to be with that person, that the person that you kept it a secret from and would explode and would, so just be honest, be yourself. That's the thing, be honest, be yourself. Let your partner be the person that's gonna be able to take all that. So let me go to my last question, my final question. If someone judges their partner for their body count, does it mean that person is insecure, or do they just have standards?
I think most of them insecure.
Can be both ways. It can be both ways because there are people who can take it and there are people who can't take it. So
Yeah.
let's not even bother because I just feel that, like I said before, just settle with someone who agrees with you.
Yeah,
So you guys just, I agree with, you did this. Oh wow. Well, we were younger and then we were wild and then we did a lot of funny things. I mean, because I hear stories about young people then in school, they just go to club and then they drink a lot and then sleep with random strangers, men, women, and then wake up in the morning and find out, I slept out. And then, it was just fun. It was just
At that
at that time. And then you're older now and you're thinking about it. I really did this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even meet such a person and then they probably related to this current partner you have and then it's a mess. So I think that everybody should have an understanding. I want to get married to you. I want to have a long-term relationship. Let's talk about these things. I'm not okay with it. Okay, sorry. That's where I was, and that's no longer where I am. It's either you're okay or you're not. If you're not okay, it's fine. Let's no hard feelings, fist bump. Let's go. Everybody go their way. No hard feelings here. Just expect that there will be people who may not totally agree with where you're being. But then again, there's also someone who, when you tell them about it, they will be a bit more merciful and be like, okay, so you made a mistake. So can we go forward? Just like you said. Someone who will be willing to stay, someone will be willing to walk you through it and all of that. So I think that's all that matters.
Like, some of them might be insecure because I've heard a lady saying that though her husband told her he had just few girls, women. But then it was in the marriage that she discovered that he had plenty. And then they are still struggling with infidelity. And she said if she had known that he had had many women, that she wouldn't have. That it's always very difficult. So some people might just have that fear that even if I venture into it, I don't know if he's being honest enough. He might said, okay, this was my past and then I'm willing to change. But how sure are we that you were changing? You're willing to, or are you just saying it so that we can get married? Are you just saying it so that we can date? Or you're just, it's just fear. Some people can't just deal with it, like she said.
You're right.
So they know very well if he did this, there is every possibility that he would definitely do this tomorrow. So they still go about that fear. And with that, they might not want to. So I think it's insecurities to me.
Everybody's position is valid. Everybody's position is valid. So everyone chooses what they can deal with. Just choose what you can deal with. If you can't deal with it, fine. Me, I personally, it's just that sometimes people tend to hold on to things too strongly, whether it's on the man's side or on the woman's side. If something is not working, let go.
Let go.
It may not be yours, so just let go. It's not working. Don't force it to work. It's not going to work. We're having this conversation and I'm uncomfortable or he's uncomfortable, then okay, let's just take a walk here. So I think that's basically it. So I think we've come to the end of this conversation. We're trying to agree that it's better, maybe we should speak to the younger generation.
It's very
It's better
important
to just keep yourself. It's better to limit all of this exposure because sincerely, I think maybe people started this testing, I think they started it with testing. I don't know whether they started it with the notion that it was going to make them better husbands or going to make them better men.
Or it's just something that's expected of them. Like, my friends have done it, why don't they?
And then
they want that hype. Because if you see the way guys hype up other guys for sleeping with people today, and a lot of times they end up doing it for the approval of other guys. You see these teenage boys creating group chats to talk about different things, but also sometimes they want to slept with someone, like, guys, I've smashed this one, I've done this one, and I'm like, and then they also talk shit about the girl that he slept with. It's just a standard that's held up. So
and I think that if it will be better if you start early to understand that these things are not the way they seem. The way the hype around it is just hype. It's not really as important as they make it look. sleeping with this one doesn't really add any value to anyone. So why would you be all over the place just experimenting things that you're going to regret later? There's really no need. So don't increase your counts just so that you can get the approval of someone who wouldn't matter in your future. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And you don't need to have sex in every relationship because you might be in 10 different relationships. Try to set boundaries for yourself.
You don't even need to. And not even just that. You don't even need to enter a relationship. So, because if you actually reason these things, people that have been in up to like 10, 15 relationships before they got married, the person that they're dating, they didn't even reason the person that they're dating before they dated. Because me like this, all my life, I've literally been single. Not because nobody has asked me out though, or because before I even decide, oh yeah, you'll be my boyfriend, I will scan you. I will literally, no, because me, I can be talking to somebody, 1 year will pass and I've still not, you understand, made up my mind. I'm very, very selective like that. I don't just think I can date just anybody. You don't just date someone because they asked you. You don't just date someone because they say they love you. You don't just date someone like, that's the thing. I feel even if you want to be intimate in your romantic relationships, just be very, very like selective. Like do it as if you're literally, do it as if you're there's this thing I saw. It was like if you carried a Dior bag, Chanel, and give it to a madman or give it to a poor person or somebody that doesn't know anything about the brand, they wouldn't handle it with the care.
They won't even know the value.
They won't know the value. They won't handle it with the care or the respect. So why would you give yourself to somebody that's not even worth?
That's what the Bible says. Don't cast your pearls before swine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so sweet. Swine. Yeah. You're dating swine.
Yeah. So you're everywhere, that is one come out here, and then
and because of this swine, you end up explaining yourself later to someone that is really serious. So you just need to avoid.
It's good to be selective. Take your time. There's no rush.
Value yourself.
Value yourself.
Because the people that went and dated nonsense, what have they achieved?
Nothing. Nothing. They just added to statistics. Just increase the statistics.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this episode. We can't wait to see you again.
So do like,
subscribe,
and share. Please drop your comments.
Thank you. Tell us how you feel about the topic.
We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook,
Instagram,
Truth in Bikinis Podcast. Just follow us. Yes.
Okay.
Right,
bye.
Bye.